Well, I'm here. I've been working all day on this. I didn't, I didn't feel it was something that should be, it's not a big deal. If you want to watch it, fine. But my new resin will be in Thursday, and I've got, man, this is a really nasty mess. Dirty job. This mold that I got here, or this setup, when I hammered this out of here, it's stuck on the backside. It's stuck on some different sides. So I've been cleaning this mold up. I'm going to do this strip here on top tonight. We'll show you how I do it. Fixing, there was a big old gouge out of that right there, so I floated in some JB Weld and sanded it off. And I'm working on these. There's a big gouge right there. I'm working on these too as well to try to get them so they look like chrome. Because I'm going to be making these tanks. I got a few more rolls of carbon fiber come in. So I'm going to be making these tanks. I also thought about, you know what? I had a mold of carbon fiber cowl from my airplane. But I'm going to show you what I've been doing all day. I've taken my sander here, and I'm not going to start off with 80 because these scratches are not that bad, but I'm going to start off with 120. And you'll think, wow, you ruined it. Well, maybe. I got to get them scratches out of there. So in order to do that, turn your microphone down because this is going to be loud. Yo. Okay, that was with 120. And I put new sheet of 150 on there. I really don't have enough sandpaper to go through all the steps that you need to. So I'm just having to work harder at it. You can start with 80. If you got a lot of metal to remove, to get them scratches out. But it looks like I got all the scratches out of this, the gouges. So we'll step down another notch. Okay, Now we'll go to 320. That's the that's the 1,000 grit. I really should go to 220, but I don't have any. So I just got to sand a little longer with 320. It's just like buffing paint, you know, same thing. I want to have these molds ready to go for when the good stuff gets here. And you know, I can make another tank, but if it's going to get soft, I'm not going to bother with it. So then we're going to go with 1,000 grit. See, I went from 320. I should be going to 600, but I don't have any. So I just got to go with this. Because the better I can make the molds, the better part is going to come out of it. And I already have made up my mind that I'm going to have a bag full of these at the Nats. I got on board with this a little too late, though, with all the electric crap going on. Now we step down to 2,000. You see what I mean by it's dirty? It's just nasty. This is not going to be a long video because it's not very interesting. And not many people are interested in this kind of thing. I mean, this is too much like work. That's 1,000, 2,000 here. Uh-oh. Sounds like, no. I thought maybe one of my club brothers was coming over, but nope. Oops, I almost dumped it on the floor. I'm probably going to be giving one of these tanks away to my paid subscribers. We'll do that once a month, I guess. Okay, now with the brothers. Get this out of the way. I've been doing this all day. That's, I was debating whether even to come on with this because it's so boring. But it has to be done. I learned how to do this on motorcycle. Take an old piece of junk and make it look great. And it is a lot of work. See all the black that comes off there? That's all oxidation. It's looking pretty good. If I had a spindle buffer, I could really, but it's really messy to do that too. So it got all them scratches out of there, so less chance for it to stick. I got a new towel. Yeah, crap. You want good parts, you got to have good molds. And these were not taken care of. It's almost there. And another time rubbing, it'll look like this side here. And it's on the wax 3 times. I'm going to do the same thing to the inside of these molds here, and that's going to be a real trip. I've been sanding on them by hand. You can't use the machine on there because it's oddball shape inside. And this aluminum is not the highest quality, or else it would polish a little faster. I think it's pretty hard stuff. If it was soft, you could polish the scratches out, but I have to sand them out. So come Thursday, production begins. That stuff's coming FedEx from New York. It'll probably take me that long to get these molds ready. Then we'll get back on to making some airplane stuff. I'll make a few tanks. And I just was watching a Windy tape. I'm going to make some wheel pants like he did. Instead of splitting them up down the center like I was going to, I'm just going to make them so that the wheel shows like he did for his Testarossa. It doesn't hurt to look at other people's ideas. I can't think of everything. I think Buddy Weeder did that too. Oh no, it wasn't Buddy Weeder. It was oh shoot, guy we spread his acid. What the hell's his name? I can't remember now. Haven't heard anything out of Alan Golf lately. Anybody know if he's okay? You know, there's not going to be an FCM this year, so we're missing out on that. I know that some of you guys just turn me on in the background and listen to me. We'll stay on here another 10 minutes. Unless you guys got something you want to talk about. Now, I could just wrap the Mylar around this, but I think Wendy wanted a nice crisp edge on it because the Mylar does leave the inside looking a little goofy. So it sure makes it easy coming off the mandrel, that's for sure. Don't have to hammer it or nothing, just push it right out. But we're going to get this cleaned up, see if we can't make that happen without the Mylar. What happens is any of the imperfections in this thing gives a place for the resin to grasp onto the metal, even though it's waxed. So if I make this thing perfectly shiny, I was thinking about going getting it chromed, but I can't get it done by Thursday, so Frank wouldn't put it ahead of anybody. Chrome would be ideal. Hard chrome would even be better. But that's not going to happen. Might have to sand them angles too. They're all ate to shit. I know it's boring, guys, but this is what I'm doing. It's a whole lot better than it was, that's for sure. Got more shine on this side. Need to work on them other sides. I've done the same process to the whole thing. Sanded it till it was flat, and then polished it. And this, we got more work to do on this side. It's going to take a whole lot more rubbing. Oh, you dog. Now, when they chrome a car part or a motorcycle part or whatever, it looks just like this before it goes in the tank. The chrome plating is just a protectant. It has to be absolutely flawless before it goes in the tank. There's no thickness to chrome. It's only 50 millionths thick. So the part, steel or aluminum or whatever, has to be absolutely polished perfectly. Then it goes in the tank for the protective coating. They coat it with the nickel, then copper, or is it copper? Copper, nickel, chrome. I could anodize this at home here, but it has to be perfect before I would green compound on a buffing wheel help with the overall finish. Well, I've tried the buffer and it I'll work on it until it's perfect. I wish I had a pedestal buffer, you know, one with a big wheel and some rouge. Exactly what the chrome shops use, but I don't. I could buy one from Harbor Freight, but I don't want to spend another $100 on this project. I'm already in too deep. But the EPON is on its way. And from what I understand, what talking to Howard, it's not really the EPON resin that makes it fuel proof, impervious to fuel. It's the hardener. The quart of hardener was $100 for a quart. And the resin was a gallon. So I probably could have just bought that hardener and used my HTR 250. And I'm going to try it, but I don't want to experiment. I want something that works. I don't want to experiment. Something that I know that works, so I could make these and be done with it. Get about 10 made. And then move on to something else. Now, this damn thing here, see, it's all narfed up. I mean, I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not. Right here, see all these narfs right there? That will lock the. I got the narfs out of this here, and especially out of here. That will lock this plug up inside the carbon. Now, granted, I only put the carbon out to here, but yeah, let's sand it. Let's sand it and make it right. I won't have to go down so deep. I'll just go with 120 or 150. See, there's a big deep one right there. So we'll sand on it with this some more. See if I can get that out. Perfect. Okay, got all the deep scratches out. Now I gotta make all them little scratches go away. So we'll just hand sand that. Because it's at a goofy angle. I've dressed up all the beading on the end with a file. Took me forever to do that. Anybody watch Danny's video this morning? He's really the brains behind this operation, not me. I'm just a laborer. But I got the scratches out of it, so. Now it would probably work without making it polished like I've been doing. It would probably work just like this with these little scratches in it, but I just feel better if it was polished. It would be slick and just jump right out of there. It would probably work as is right there, but we're going to polish it. Oh, we got a scratch here. I think you can get it out. Them gouges ain't forgiving. The little scratches are, though. Thanks, Gary. Well, I guess I'm not going to get that one out. That's pretty damn deep. Got all the other ones out, though. And I've been doing this all day, working on this thing. It's been a pain. Hey, John. I've gotten a few orders for these tanks so far. And I want them perfect when they get them. Now this is the inside mold. This is probably the hardest one because it has to be knocked out. But if you look at this tank, I've looked at this tank several times, and only imperfection I can see is this spot right there. I filled that spot with JB Weld, but I don't think I can get it sanded completely out. I mean, it not really, but I'd like to have it perfect, you know. Perfect. And I think I'm going to lay them up a little different on the next one. The next one's going to be, I called Wix today. Remember, our Wix discount code is STUNT10. Keep using that code when you call Wix Aircraft for your dope, or your fiberglass, or your fittings, or whatever. I called Wicks today, and they have 1.5 ounce e-glass. Well, the glass that I used on this tank was 2.3. So 1.5 is less than 2.3, but 3 is 7/10 more. So what I'm going to do is when I make the next set of tanks, when the EPON gets here, is I'm going to have 1.5 e-glass on top, this carbon in the center, and then 1.5 e-glass inside, and then match it together. That should make it lighter, believe it or not, because that means more epoxy will ooze out of the tank, but it'll give it a better finish than just this raw carbon. I mean, but it does look good, don't get me wrong, but it should be even shinier. And I talked to a guy that had one of these original Windy tanks, and he said after a year he sprung a leak. Well, my cast tank sprung a leak, and I just used JB Weld. But I'd like to make these so that they'll last 10 years, or whatever, ever how long they're gonna last. So we're gonna, of course, Wendy didn't use glass like this either. He used a glass in his tank that the tank looked like. I don't even know what I did with it now. That's that one. That ain't it. Ah, this is ridiculous. Ha! I lost the damn. There it is. This tank looked more like this one. It was very flat, and this one has the pattern in it. So this one's going to be a better product. Stronger. Got to offer your customers something good. So I can get 6 tanks out of a roll. So that's 6, 12, 18. 18 to start. I guess we'll make some 6. Put carbon veil on top and bottom section. That veil looks like crap. I'm going to use glass. This carbon that I'm using is thicker than what Wendy used. But it's lighter because you squish more resin out of it. This tank right here weighs 1 ounce. So there's another thing I'm going to do is I'm probably going to use copper tubes instead of aluminum, even though aluminum's lighter. Something about a galvanic reaction, according to Dan, with aluminum and carbon. It's either that or I'm going to pass through a brass eyelet through the carbon and then put the aluminum tube through that, because I don't want a galvanic reaction. Well, I don't know what that'd do, but I gotta be safe all around. Got to be safe all around. Let's use there we go, 1,000. Nothing else. I'll have tanks for myself. I like the carbon tanks, man. It makes the airplane feel a whole lot better. Get all that weight out of the nose. But you got to build a light airplane to use this. You don't want to put this in your airplane and then add 2 ounces of nose weight. Defeating your purpose. Might as well just leave the metal tank in it. I'm gonna make some landing gear too. Now I made landing gear a while. I still got that landing gear mold. I made landing gear a while back, but these are going to be different. I'm going to build a set of balsa gear to mold, you know, to get the buck, so to speak. So it's going to be a different shape, something that I like. Whether somebody else likes it or not, I don't know. They'll probably mimic similar to the Bali gear. I don't want to step on Dan's toes because he's making gear and he's making props. I don't think I want to get into props because I don't think I want the liability. I'll make them for myself. I don't think I want to make propellers for other people in case a blade flies off, put somebody's eye out or whatever. I don't have insurance for that. I might do a whole carbon airplane too, because John and I have been talking about it for a while, but never got around to doing it. So I got to build an airplane, solid wood or whatever. You know, it doesn't matter what it's made out of. So I can get a plug and then make a mold and lay it up. That's a lot of work too. But I got to do something to challenge myself because I've built so many damn airplanes. I got to do something different. I got lots of airplanes. So what I'll do when I kill this stream is I'll turn on the TV, watch TV, and rub on this. I used to do this to motorcycle parts. That is filthy. Really dirty aluminum. Oh, but it looks good. Came out nice. Doing this is just like polishing an airplane. You start with 80 grit. You start dropping down in sandpaper thicknesses, grits until you get all the scratches out, and then you start rubbing. The more you rub, the shinier it'll get. I mean, I could spend hours doing this. I already got 8 hours in doing this, sanding the molds and getting them clean. And I did one side in an hour. It's looking good though. Should pop out of there now. Get all the damn scratches out of it. Got a few little scratches up in there. I don't know if I want to worry about them or not. If I was in Dayton, I'd be doing this after work. But now I ain't working. I'm doing this as a job. What do you think? That turned out okay? That big gouge right there is filled with JB Weld. You can't hardly feel it. So you'll be fine. It'll be fine. Start using this pedestal buffer, I'd have black shit all over me. My face would be black. The wall would be black. Hey, inflation. Yeah, we talked about that. This way works, as you know, but you were polishing your molds, and if you don't have them super clean, just a little speck can cause it to lock up, catastrophic lockup. And the last time I did this without the mylar wrapped around it, I had to beat the crap out of it. And I watched Wendy videos, and he beat the crap out of it, but his molds didn't look like this when he was using them. So you get 3 coats of wax on this, and should be fine. I got all the big scratches out of it. It's just a messy job. It's just terrible. It takes a long time to do. Okay, that's good for this piece right now. I mean, I'll probably polish it again before I wax it. I'll show you what I'm going to do with these, what I've been doing with these. Now, this outside mold really doesn't matter much. because the way it's put together as a 5-piece mold, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4-piece mold. Yeah, I know. We already talked about it, trying. With this mold here, you drive the pins out and you just tap it with a hammer here and it cracks the mold open on the outside. But that spot that I showed you there, you can hear it with my fingernail, is that line right there in the mold. So I floated in some JB Weld, and I think I'm going to have to do it again. I can still feel it. And anything you can feel be transferred to the outside. And there's a NARF right there. Now, I'm not going to sand that because that would change the angle. So I'm going to either have to float in some JB Weld and sand it off or whatever. And, you know, you really can't see it. But I would like these perfect. This particular seam right here, nothing I can do about this because this is where the mold separates. And this side, that's fine. But this right here, I think we're going to mix up some JB Weld and razor blade in some more and get it setting up. These have here, I've already sanded them flat, and I've molded tanks in this already, waxed up but not polished on this surface here, because the way the mold comes apart. But this surface here, I'm going to try to polish. But I got to get rid of that big deep groove. I guess it looked like it had a catastrophic lockup or something, that somebody jammed a screwdriver down there, dug a gouge in it. The correct way to do this would be to take it and have that line heliarched and then put on a bridge port and have this surfaced. But I don't have a heliarc machine and I don't have a bridge port. I got a Mexican heliarc, which is JB Weld, and a Mexican milling machine, which is elbow grease. so that's what I'm going to do. There's always a way. Yeah, that inflation bladder, they should be infusioned, sucked across. But for something like this, I don't know how you could infuse weld it, or weld it, infuse mold it. I need some more JB Weld when they start making these stupid tanks too. Let's see here. We need razor blade. Yeah, here's a razor blade. That don't feel good. Let's get a new one. Okay, new razor blade. So this is the second coat of JB Well in that crack. I think what needs to be done to that mandrel is have the end tapped and a steel peg put in the end. Big, a 1-inch round peg. Yeah, I know. A 1-inch round peg threaded into the end of it so you can beat on the steel peg instead of the aluminum, which I think I might do. And if that thing there, if that mandrel is, waxed up real good and doesn't have any scratches in it, it should just crack and it should just fly right out of there. Like it did when I wrapped it with Mylar. Okay, now you see that little spot right there? Hey Annie, Jeff, if you see that little spot right there, that little stain, that will imprint on there if I don't get it all off. So I got to get it into the crack. I'll get another razor blade and off of the mold. Here's something I know for a fact when we're doing canopies. A fingerprint will transfer from the buck to the molded part. That looks good. Now there's a spot around there. You can see a spot still. There's no material there, but that little spot. When that dries, I'll come back and I'll sand that spot till it looks okay, and then that'll be gone, and I won't have that little spot in my. It's pretty picky. I mean, I don't think I'm going to do anything with this side one. I don't know. We could try it. Yeah, it's pretty good. Getting pretty particular for a fuel tank. But I'd like a good part to come out. Well, we wasted an hour. I appreciate you guys watching. Like, subscribe, share. Most of all, I will be, as soon as I get these perfected and made, I will be giving away a tank to a paid subscriber. I'll probably do one a month for a couple of months anyway, until the Nats. So if you're not a paid subscriber, get on the bandwagon and I'll be giving away one of these tanks a month until the Nats. As a perk. Random draw. And that will even include my friends from out of the country, even though it's a pain in the ass. So, I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll do something. These, I mean, I'm not going to work on these all day tomorrow. These are, I'll sand that up in the morning. That plug there was the most important part. This piece right here, and I've got this well on its way to being usable. These here I can work on every time I mold one. I can sand on it a little bit and crack them. So tomorrow we'll make some wheel pants or paint one. I'm not sure. So stay tuned. We'll see you tomorrow. Fair winds, tight lines. See ya.